Help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. The sound of my wife's voice cracked through the silence like glass splitting under pressure. I'm not sure about us anymore, she said. Her words hung between us, cold and final, slicing through the humid air of our kitchen. The smell of coffee had turned bitter, the ticking of the clock suddenly unbearable. I stared at her, really stared this time, at the woman I'd shared 11 years with, at the tremor in her hand, the half-emptied mug, the way her eyes avoided mine. And I smiled. Slow. Controlled. Dead inside. Actually, I said, sliding a folded paper across the table, I've already signed the divorce. Her lips parted. Confusion flickering before guilt began to rise behind her expression like smoke through broken wood. You what? She stammered. You've already signed it? Yes, I said. 2 weeks ago. Silence. Then the kettle clicked off in the background, as if marking the end of something invisible. For a moment I thought she might confess right then and there. Instead, she blinked, gathered herself, and forced a laugh. That's funny. Are you joking? No, I said. And I wasn't. The truth was, I'd found out long before she said the words. It started with her perfume, different one morning, too floral, too strong. Then the late nights at the office. The phone turned face down. The sudden distant smiles at nothing. You don't need evidence when the soul knows. It's the silence that convicts them. The pauses between their explanations that hurt the most. At first, I told myself I was imagining it. After all, Ava had been under pressure, work stress, her father's illness, the strain of everything falling apart around us. But then came the photo. Not meant for me. She'd forgotten to log out of her email on my laptop. A thread titled Tuesday Night Plans, and there he was. Smiling. Hand on her waist. Ethan. Her coworker. The same man who'd shaken my hand at last year's office gala and said, "You're lucky, man. Ava's 1 in a million." Yeah, I remembered. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I waited. I wanted to see if she'd tell me. If guilt would eat her alive enough to push the truth out. But it never did. She carried on with her half smiles and half excuses while my heart slowly fossilized. It's strange how betrayal doesn't always hit like a punch. Sometimes it comes quietly, like rot beneath the floorboards, slow, invisible, inevitable. One night, she came home late again, smelling faintly of cologne that wasn't mine. I was sitting in the dark, lights off, just watching the doorway. You scared me, she said, flicking on the lamp. Sorry, I replied. Didn't mean to. Her eyes darted, calculating. You're awake. Couldn't sleep. She kissed my cheek. Her lips were cold. That was the night I decided to sign the papers. Now, sitting across from her at the table, I watched her brain scramble for footing. She wanted control, but I'd taken it from her, and she hated that. You're serious? She asked again, voice shaking. I nodded. It's done. All that's left is your signature. Her hands trembled slightly as she picked up the papers. I could see the fear flicker, fear of losing the comfort, the image, the safety net. Why? She whispered. Because, I said, leaning back, you already left. You just never packed your bags. The words landed like a slap. She bit her lip hard enough to draw blood, and I felt a cruel satisfaction twist inside me. You think I cheated, she said suddenly. I don't think, I replied. I know. She froze. Then her chin lifted, a defiance flickering to life. And what if I did? That question should have broken me. But it didn't. It only confirmed what I'd known all along. Then I guess I stopped loving the right version of you a long time ago, I said quietly. She swallowed hard. For the first time she looked small, fragile, like she didn't know where to run. We sat there for what felt like hours. I watched her cry, silent tears she didn't try to hide. And for a moment I remembered the early years. Our first apartment, our road trips, her laugh echoing off canyon walls. It was almost unbearable remembering what we used to be. Finally, she said, "It wasn't supposed to happen." Her voice cracked on the last word. I didn't answer. I wanted her to keep talking. I was lonely, she whispered. You were distant. You buried yourself in work. I just wanted to feel wanted again. So you found someone else to fix that, I said flatly. She looked at me through tear-blurred lashes. It wasn't love, Daniel. It was confusion. I was going to end it. I swear. I stood up, pushing the chair back slowly. You already did. She flinched like I'd struck her. That night, I packed what I needed and left. No shouting, no slammed doors, no dramatic finale. Just the quiet sound of me dragging my suitcase through the hallway we'd built a life in. Outside, the air was cold, sharp against my lungs. The sky hung low, thick with fog. I thought about how endings rarely come with closure, they just bleed into silence. I stayed at a friend's place that week, ignoring her calls, her messages, each one more desperate than the last. But on the 7th day, something unexpected arrived. A letter. Handwritten. Her handwriting. Inside just one line. If you had told me you knew, I would have told you everything. No apology. No plea. Just that. I folded it back into the envelope and tucked it away. Because the truth was there was nothing left to tell. 2 months later I ran into Ethan. Supermarket parking lot. He looked thinner, nervous, wearing guilt like a shadow. "Daniel," he said, eyes darting. "I didn't expect to see you." "Guess life's full of surprises," I said. He tried to speak, but I walked past him. I didn't know him anything. But as I reached my car, he called out, "She ended it, you know? With me. Right after you left." I paused, keys in hand. "I guess she finally realized what she lost," he added softly. I looked at him, really looked, and said, "No. She realized what she destroyed." Then I got in my car and drove away. It's been 6 months now. Some nights I still hear her voice in my dreams, the way she said, "I'm not sure about us anymore." And every time I wake up with the same calm, hollow clarity. Because I'm sure that love doesn't die. It just changes shape, becomes a lesson carved into your ribs. Sure that sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't to forgive, but to let go. And sure that walking away, even when your heart begs you to stay, is its own kind of victory.